Me the sector godfather. Type D the real name, the sector get fired. They said that I'm the nigga that they all love to hate. Fuck the damn chat, nigga. I say it's okay. Motherfuckers want the good guys to come back. Wanna beef with real niggas cause they channel wax. Had the church sector in a motherfucking frenzy. Crazy ass nigga KOM tried to see. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. The sector wanna see a new beef every week. Especially from new niggas that wanna beef with me. Some say it's fun and some say it's hard. Trigger the bitch nigga, so he exposed the void. Took a trip to Vegas and we was Vegas lit. The haters saw the videos and they say ain't that a bitch. Left the damn sector, said my rivals tried to take my title. How the hell you try to take my title? I ain't got no fucking rival. 2022 was a bitch. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. Came for my motherfucking certifications, came for my license, and they came for my accreditation. The fucking hating don't stop. The Godfather still came on top. Motherfuckers wanna take me down. Wanna see my dollars go from up and then down. The Godfather gon' win anyway. I end the fucking year with fuck the DBA. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. 2022 was a bitch. All a nigga wanna do is this. Hate niggas like, 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 hate niggas like. Hate niggas like, hate niggas like, hate niggas like. Welcome, everybody. This is D Durrell, Coach D. How everybody's doing? Hope everybody is having a great day today. We're going to have a nice little show today. I decided to go live again this weekend. Definitely trying to do some real content up in this sector. Just chilling, enjoying myself. Got a little drinky drink. Got that little Crown Apple with Coke up in here chilling right now on this night. So I'm going to chop it up with everybody for about, I say maybe an hour and a half at the most. Got to rest up for a long day tomorrow. and a long ass week. So I don't have time to just be chilling and fucking around on YouTube all day and all night. Shout out to RZA Lyricist. He said, the Godfather. What's up, RZA Lyricist? What's going on, brother? Appreciate everybody that's coming in right now. We got 6 in the chat. We got LV, the motherfucking showman, saying, what's up, D Darrell, Coach D. What's up, brother? How you doing? Glad for you to come in today. So we're going to have a nice little conversation today. We definitely going to chop it up. We're going to talk about some things, man. And for people wondering why I'm not doing content in the sector, the Umar Johnson sector right now, because really, be honest with you, it's a lot of fuckery. I'm trying to do some real content. I'm just tired of doing content about other niggas that basically irrelevant when it comes to the space, irrelevant when it comes to YouTube. I'm like, I'm just tired of doing the same recurrent shit. And I feel like it's time for me to get away from that shit. And yes, there are people that want to beef with me. Yes, there's people claim they know about my state contracts, lying about what I lost and what I didn't lose and what happened to me. And like I said, man, like, and for people that have followed me for a long time, if you don't believe me now, if you didn't believe me in 2019, you're not going to believe me now. Okay? Let's just just be real about it. If you did not believe me in 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, if you didn't believe me then, you're not going to believe me now. I'm just so fucking sick and tired of arguing and going back and forth with people lying about me, putting all this shit. People want to know about my wife. People want to know all this shit. People trying to get businesses closed down and all this kind of shit. I just don't have time for it, LV. I got time for it, RZA Lyricist. It's the same recurrent shit. And I'm still thriving. And I just don't got time for it. So today, we're going to touch upon the divestment community. We're going to touch upon the Passport Brothers. Okay? We're going to talk about both. And the reason why I decided to talk about both is because what I'm hearing right now is Passport Brothers have come under a lot of criticism, even by myself. There's people that I'm cool with that rock with the Passport Brothers that I don't agree with. I've seen people going to the panels that I know and don't know, in which they talk about the divestment community and they talk about the Passport Brothers. And then I hear Passport Brothers speaking on crazy shit about the divestment community. Some is legitimate and some is not. And then I hear a lot of divestment ladies, females, that shit on the black community just like the Passport Brothers do. And they talking about Passport Brothers. And I'm like, you both are doing the same damn thing. You both are basically stressing how you find no value in people in the black community, in black people. And you feel like you're doing yourself a disservice by dating us, marrying us, or being in the community. And so I don't understand, if you're both practicing the same behavior, how the hell y'all talking ill of each other? Y'all all belong in the same goddamn group. And if you all want to go and do all this crazy ass shit with other communities, by all means, knock yourself out. I really don't give a damn. What's up, Yellow Rose of Texas? I haven't seen you here in a long, long time, sis. Good to see you here today. What's up, Sleuth Foot Slim? Good to see you here too. But you both are practicing the same behaviors. So why is it y'all have issues with one another? Like, why do y'all talk ill? Is it just that you group everybody together? If you're a divestment, all black men, whether you are a productive black man or not, you just group everybody together. Fuck it. I'm going to divest out. For the Passport Brothers, SYSBM, because they both kind of go hand in hand, the same thing. You feel like dating has been so much trash. Black women ain't shit. And I got to find the type of women that I want in second and third world countries. The only difference is you all are looking in different places. The divestment community mainly is basically swirling because most of them are actually looking at white men, although some of them are divested to Asian, Indian, and Hispanic, and so on. It's within the country itself. And the Passport Brothers choose to venture off and not deal with people in the country at all and go to Brazil, Colombia, Philippines, all these little countries like that, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and etc. Which is fine with me. Which is fine with either way it goes. I am not here to tell anybody how they are supposed to look for the person that they want. And if you feel like the community is not up to your standards, I may say, and you want to go seek women that live in the ditches and the jungles, that's fine. And for the divestment, if you want to go seek men that other women in that group don't want, the low-hanging fruit of that community, that's up to you. Because you're both getting the worst of those communities. You're not getting the best of the Colombian community. You're not getting the best of the Mexican community. You're not getting the best of the Brazilian community. You're not. Same thing for the divestors. You're not getting the best and the top of those communities. See, that's what they don't want to talk about, Yellow Rose. So I'm speaking of that. And I'm trying to figure out when I go to channels and I hear Passport Brothers talk about the community, why are they talking about that? They include everybody. And then most recently, as I'm hearing, I hear divestment subscribers talk ill of these guys. And so that's fine. That is fine with me. So Yellow Rose say, I don't see a problem with people moving on as opposed to worsening things with their toxicity. I agree with that. And that's why I support them all getting the hell out the black community and leave us the fuck alone. Like, you don't have to mention us. If you've divested, and this is what I don't understand about both groups. If you both claim you are doing so much better with other groups, why are you not talking and giving testimonials about that? I never hear divestment women talk about how great it is in those communities, but you spend your time talking about how bad it is in the community that you left. And it's time to have a position of, we don't give a fuck what either of you think about the black community. We don't. That needs to be a narrative now at this point, that we don't care that you don't like black men. We don't care that you don't like black women. Okay? You sound foolish in yourself as if you're at a level because you ventured off. Okay? And as if we're stuck in the community. Like, we're here because we want to be here. And if black love is black love, if you don't believe in black love and black relationships, that's your problem. That's you. But you're not going to shit on the community because we choose to want to be with one another, interact with one another, and even be in the struggle with one another. But you're not going into those other communities telling them how great they are. Because you know why? They don't want to hear you. They care less. These people care less about you entering their communities. And the reason why you coming back here is because you don't have a voice in those communities. So you feel like you're going to socialize and interact amongst black community on YouTube and social media and make us feel bad for not doing or agreeing with your acts and your behavior and your sexual preferences or your dating preferences. I don't give a damn. Like, we really, for both divestors, passport brothers, it's when we don't give a shit, because the numbers clearly tell that over 85+% of black people are going to date other black people, and they're going to marry. I don't care how low the percentage is. If it's less than 30% of black people getting married, okay, that doesn't matter. Because of that, let's say of that 30%, and then let's just say of the 70% that are not married. Just because the other 70% of black people are not married doesn't mean that they're not in long-term relationships. That doesn't mean that they're not in productive relationships. They're just not married. There's a portion of the black community that don't believe in state-sanctioned marriage. There's a large segment of the black community that doesn't believe in state-sanctioned marriage, and they choose to be in these long-ass relationships without being married on paper. Yes, Bottom. The divestment community is the female version of the passport bros. I guess you wanted to say they should be supporting each other. Yes, they should be, but they're not. And the reason why they don't is because their hatred reeks so high for the opposite sex in the community that they feel that it does a disservice for them to be on the same thought process as black people of the opposite sex in that group. It actually is almost like a violation. It's like a violation for them to agree with other black men. And in the divestment community, certainly is a strike and offense against them to agree with the likes of black men practicing the same behaviors. Now, my position, both communities, you both look foolish on YouTube. You both look stupid. You look foolish. You look out of touch with reality. And this is one of the reasons why I don't get on panels as much as I used to. Shout out to TMK Media. What's up, brother? Like, the reason why I don't get on panels and debate and argue with people like I used to, because I am sick and tired of having arguments that don't translate to real life. Okay? I'm sick, even though YouTube is somewhat of a reflection of real life. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of black people, less than 15% of black people, get on YouTube. Okay? The other 85% don't fuck with this platform. And I'm gonna be honest. As I speak to the younger kids, like kids that I know they're in high school, early kids that are like in their early 20s, and even younger, as young as 10, 12, YouTube is not going to be what it is. YouTube will be just like Facebook is, out of style in about 5 to 10 years. Facebook doesn't have the same power and prestige and being the be all end all like it was in the early, I want to say the late 2009, 2010, early 2010s up to 2015. It doesn't have the same, it's not as popular. And it's for a variety of reasons. And the same thing is going to happen. And I want to let you all know, the same thing is going to happen to YouTube. Okay? They're not going to be the it. As we can see that TikTok is becoming, the only thing that's stopping TikTok right now is the shit with China. If that wasn't if TikTok was bought by an American company, it would be over. I'm just being honest with you. Well, shut out the BMT. He said straight up, it's already lame to the kids and teens in my area. It is, man. My son, man, my son's 17 years old, and he watches a little bit of TikTok of YouTube. And I'm gonna be honest, my kids, the only one that watches, I have an older daughter that's 24 years old. She'll be 25. I'm sorry, she's 25 years old. She'll be 26 later this year. She is the only one that watches YouTube like that, and she's not a big on YouTube. My other daughter and my son, they watch it more for music and other shit like that. But as far as the sector related stuff and different things like that, my son actually hates people who especially those that do like hip hop content and talk about different things that go on, because he simply just told me, you cannot believe what people say on YouTube. My son, me and my son has talked about this and had discussions about YouTube. And he simply says it's just basically a lot of people getting on there saying crazy shit. He talking about kids and adults, and he don't believe nothing anybody says on YouTube. And he just flat out said that. They're more on Instagram, they're on TikTok and Instagram, Snapchat, and all other little whatever they got going on. And that's just the fact. So people come on YouTube acting like their views, like the Passport Brothers, just like Red Pill Communities, just like the Pink Pill and Divestment, they act like their views are shared by the majority of black people, when if the majority of black people actually listen to this shit, they would be irrelevant. They would be irrelevant. And that is the biggest reason I don't go in Banisfield spaces. I don't argue with SYSPM anymore, because I understand that in the reality of your community that operates outside of YouTube in real life, they hear you talking like this, they will look at you like you fucking crazy. BMT says they don't like being told what to think, and they don't believe anything on YouTube. The kids get it, and the adults are my son don't believe shit on YouTube. And he flat out told me, don't believe. And then he actually hates when I repeat shit on YouTube and say, oh, they said this, they said, man, and so this is what the content creator doesn't understand. For those who intensely argue these fucked up ass talking points that they conjure up, is that when you look at it from a mainstream perspective, you're going to get shunned. For instance, for example, look what's happening to the Passport Brothers right now with Austin Holloman. Okay? Look what has happened to people that Dr. Field tried to get to come on his channel that were in Red Pill communities. It's a reason why Mr. Sharp didn't bring his ass on Dr. Field's channel, because he was going to be made to look foolish amongst mainstream America. Even Kevin Samuel, when he was alive, even though he was honored by BET, even though he was on Atlanta, I think, or something like, he had a couple little acting gigs and stuff like that, he strayed away from Red Pill talking points. But the manosphere is going to gaslight and act like Kevin didn't disown their ass. The manosphere is going to act like Kevin didn't call them incels, which he did on, what is it? what is it, Jumper 22, Jumper or whatever, no Jumper with Adam. He actually called them incels. He said he hung out with incels for 2 years, learning about what their wants and needs. He called the manosphere basically incels. The white manosphere, which is far larger than the black manosphere, may not be as popular because of Kevin Samuel. The tide probably turned. More people from the white community are watching the manosphere than ever, the black manosphere than ever. The white manosphere has yet to produce an iconic figure. And that's just the facts. The divestment community, Pink Pill, all of those that swirl, and all the other ones that claim that they're living such great lives, they have yet to produce an iconic figure that can go mainstream and be accepted. If even that guy, Andrew Tate, as popular as he was and is, and now there's controversy about his being going to jail and doing all of this evil shit with stuff that they said he had going on. You know, he had a very suspicious character. He was on reality shows. And he's wealthy. He was wealthy. Hundreds of millions. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And even at that point for him, he's more popular internationally than he is in the United States. And he has some of the most misogynistic and ignorant ass viewpoints that anyone would ever know and anyone would ever see. Yet, he's not necessarily mainstream status. And so, it really, really irks me that some of the most ignorant ass YouTubers think that having YouTube clout, the more subscribers means that you know what you're talking about. The more subscribers mean that it validates that you're more right. When actually, I'm going to say this, over 60 to 70% of what most people say on YouTube is actually incorrect information. And the people who are actually the most qualified, trained professionals, people who have experiences in those areas that choose to talk about those different topics and subjects, they're not the ones who have huge platforms. And I'm a testament to that. And others. When you look at black YouTube therapists, black therapists, basically black therapists are not heard unless they say the dumb shit that this latest TikTok therapist stated about black men. Just as the other one a year ago said ignorant shit about black men. That's the only way someone in my field can become popular. If you say dumb shit that's not congruent with the field, and then it gets attention. That gets attention. And that's just the facts. That's what gets attention. Not speaking of the reality of mental health, not speaking of the benefits of mental health, just like the Lapeef with their dumb ass and the Fight Club with Antoine and his stupid ass talking in ignorant ways about the importance of therapy in the black community. And we're suffering because of a lack of access and because of their lack of accepting that therapy really works. Therapy really works. I don't give a damn how you feel about it. I don't give a damn what you think, and your personal opinions really don't mean as much as you think they do. Your personal opinions will never outweigh the reality of what is occurring in real life as people are steadily and increasingly getting mental health services and they're benefiting from it. So you think just because you have 250, 100, million, 500,000 subscribers, that your unintelligent opinion is supposed to outweigh me as a professional in the field. And unfortunately, there are people who actually think that way. And I'm just laughing. I wish not to be involved in any debates. And I used to debate a lot. I see Amiri, shout out to Amiri Brown, check out his channel. I can't do what Amiri doing right now because I have no interest in arguing unintellectual subjects and topics to people who are not intellectual at all. Just because you've been around for 10 years and you create a group/cult and people buy into what you say, and just because you quote research, and really you're not quoting research, you're quoting raw numbers of the research and you're not putting it into context, does not mean you are a master teacher. What it means is that you are a Negro who is wasting his time looking up stuff that he don't really understand, and you're regurgitating numbers to people who can't barely read and write and comprehend, so that they think everything you say is true because they are following your mindset. They can't think for themselves. What's up, Mikey? So I'm speaking in this manner. And look, the numbers are a testament. We maxed out around 14. We got 9 in the chat. Shout out to everybody that chose to listen to me today about this topic. Because this is what my channel and topics are going to look like from here on. Yes, I will talk about some manosphere stuff. Yes, I will. Damn, the camera. Hold on, guys. Got to get my camera right. So, I will talk about topics like this and things that I enjoy. I will talk about some dating stuff that will run in conjunction to my dating channel. And I got some interviews I'm working on that I'm hoping you all are going to enjoy. And I'm looking forward to having those interviews so that we can talk. And so right now, that's what my YouTube time is going to be invested in when I have time. Because to be honest with you, I am highly busy with my new business, with my dollar store, and it's kicking my ass right now. It really is. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because we're trying to make it profitable. It's steadily improving week after week. Sales are going up. And we want to keep the sales up. What's up, Chaos Rain? Yellow Rose stated, I like the interview you did with the last young lady. I appreciate that, Yellow Rose. I'm glad that you are watching. I'm glad that you like the dating channel. To me, the dating channel is, I enjoy the interviews. I'm in my comfort zone. I'm talking about dating. I'm talking about relationships. I'm being non-confrontational. I'm not here to tell people who they should choose and how they're supposed to act. I am allowing people to be themselves when I interview them and to give their perspective. Now, I may give my perspective on some things that I think, as it relates to them and some of the difficulties. Shout out to Carrie Ann in the chat. Speaking of Carrie Ann, you had a lame ass Negro today who refused to get the test that he was challenged to get. Actually, when he did the video today, this lame Negro from Detroit looked sick, looked like he losing weight. And I don't know what y'all think about that. I'm not saying anything, but when I saw him today, looked like that jacket he had on was smothering his ass. Like the jacket looked like it just consumed his body. Look at his face. Look like his face is caving in like he's losing weight. I don't know if some type of count of something is going down because he did not look healthy today. And I don't know what that's about. But I have no interest, like this brother from Detroit, spending 5 hours of his time talking about a woman that he never met and don't know. And the roast was weak as fuck. Like, you could have came better than that. But that's just me. I'm just saying, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time on Negroes like this anymore. Like really. Like, I'm looking at this as I was actually working. I was at the dollar store today. I worked from 10 to 5 today. And as I was working between customers and I was listening to this bullshit, and then you got these old ass men. Like, if you want to talk shit, like y'all niggas are like the motherfucking YouTube nomads. You go from one, you went to the DBA, you went there. I know for some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but those that do. Like, y'all basically go from one chat to another talking shit. And I'm sitting here like these old ass niggas. And I can call them old ass niggas because I'm 45. These niggas in their 50s. So I can call them old. Like, do y'all have anything better to do with your fucking Sunday? And I know for like to be doing this shit. Because I'm right now, Carrie, and I'm just reflecting on things. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm really starting to really think about what the fuck am I doing? Like, is this shit even worth my time? And as I have prioritized what's most important to me, you're right, get the money. I chose to get the fucking money in real life. Because I understand when you look at the grand scheme of things, this shit is irrelevant. And I would rather chase money than chase views and chase subscribers. She said she called them Owens for short. But I'm like, I don't even know the next time I'm going to do a live stream on my D Derail Sectors TV channel. Right now, I'm thinking about just strictly doing. I may even do some shorts. I may do like uploads. What's up, Scarlett? She said, get the money back. Yeah, I'm getting the bag. I may do some uploads, maybe some premieres, but I'm not going live so that my content can be reviewed by talentless motherfuckers. They got motherfuckers that wait on you to do content so they can review it. Like for real? Like, niggas really, like, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing, man? Like the shit is like, niggas waiting on you to, like, so basically what happens, you know, for those that want to know, what I'm basically saying is if the sector, don't you know you can kill certain channels by not doing any content? If you chose to do zero content, Carrie-Ann, TMK, or anybody else, they got niggas that go live that won't have nothing to fucking talk about. And to me, I'm not calling no names. You know who the motherfuckers are. And they basically wait on you to do shit so that they can make content about it. The nigga today did content on Carrie-Ann for 5 fucking hours. Yes, it was about him, but you mean to tell me you gotta play a motherfucking videos for damn near 3 fucking hours just to do content? That's the issue that I had with KOM. This nigga would literally just play your fucking content. Dr. Bombay says, you had a road to Damascus moment. I know the feeling. Yes. So, as we go back to Passport Brothers and we go back to the divestment, Both communities, from my perspective, have illogical perceptions of the black community. I'm not saying that everything that they say is wrong, but the shit is illogical because you think just because you don't like the black community, you feel that other people should feel like you. And just because other people don't feel like you want to try to shame us into stand in the only fucking thing we got. And the most illogical thing about it is that you assume just because you marry someone from another culture, don't mean you're necessarily in their community, because that doesn't always happen. You can be X'd out and isolated. I mean, other groups of people, the majority culture in this country, most people who are married to the majority culture in this country are not necessarily in that person's family, your spouse's family. Same thing for the Asian community, Hispanic, and others. Just because you're married don't mean you're in that community. And marriage itself is not the only means, or not the biggest means or most effective means of divesting. Because there are plenty of people who marry outside of their race that are still active in the black community. So the act of interracial dating and marriage doesn't necessarily signify the fact that you are divested out of the community. There are people who are in homoracial or homogeneous relationships, in race, intercultural related relationships that don't fuck with black people. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give you one prime example. What's the guy that just died? He was a high ranking Army. He was our Secretary of Defense, Colin Powell. Colin Powell is a prime example of having a black wife. And when you went to his funeral, or if you saw his funeral that they showed online on CNN and all the major networks when he died a couple years ago, there were no black people at that fucking funeral outside of his own children and family members. And that's a fact. Colin Powell was married to a black woman and he didn't fuck with the black community. He was divested. What's up, Doe Eyes? How you doing, baby? Colin Powell is a prime example, and his wife, of people who were married in married their race and didn't fuck with the black. Colin Powell did not have black friends. If he did, he had very few. Probably that he grew up with and he didn't want nobody to know about. Colin Powell, when they showed his funeral, they showed everybody in the crowd and they interviewed people. All I saw was non-black people, and they were 90% white. And the only black people I saw was, I think he has 2 or 3 children and his wife, and maybe a sprinkle of other. He didn't even fuck with his own family, to be honest with you. They're laughing. I'm just saying, yes, I'm trying to make a point because people have a misconception of what divestment really means. And there are people who are married to other black people that don't fuck with black people. And that's, to me, the best example. I'm going to give you another example of somebody that ain't necessarily married to the guy, but they've been together for Stedman and Oprah. Oprah don't fuck with black people like that. Oprah don't fuck with black people. You know how I know Oprah don't fuck with black people? Outside of her Gayle King and maybe a few others, and Tyler Perry, she has very few. But Oprah don't fuck with black people. Stedman probably don't fuck with black people too. When you look at Oprah's businesses, There were no black people working for Oprah. When you look at who Oprah socializes with outside of a few very wealthy black people, which is a very small percentage, Oprah don't really fuck with black people like that. I'm just being honest, man. This shit is like the reality. They don't fuck with black people. They don't, and that's just the reality. So I've always questioned the legitimacy of any highly successful politician, entertainer, because to me it sounds like one of the prerequisites is to not fuck with black people. They're not going to allow you to be as successful if you fuck around with a lot of black people. They want you to fuck with them, and so that they can make money off of you. RZA Lyricist says, it's so bad to the point she named the dog Gail. The hell? Yellow Rose says, when you love your people, it shows. Yes, it does show. And so there's countless others, but I'm just pointing this out because that's what comes to mind. If anybody else wants to bring about anybody else, you're more than happy to do so. If anybody wants to come up and chop it up with me for the next 30, 40 minutes, you're happy to get the link. The link is out there for those that want it. But the reality is that divestment does not mean you don't have to date outside of your race to divest. There's a large percentage. This is a form of divestment. Man, what's wrong with this? My camera is bugging. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Give me 1 second. What's up, Chaos?
What's good? What's good, man? Wait, camera broke or something? I think went off cam, man.
This is trying to get it to stay on all these wires and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm speaking about true divestment, and I'm speaking of it in a manner that relates to the black community. I'm speaking of it in a manner of what true divestment really looks like versus what people think. There are a lot of black people who are married to someone in their race that don't deal with black people. There's a lot of people who are middle class and upper class who move out of the black community and never come back. Okay? There's a lot of NBA players that are basketball players, whatever sports industry. There's a lot of actors. They don't deal with black people. They don't.
Okay.
The majority of the people around them are all white, and very few of those people are black. And the only people they may interact with is their family members. And that's it. So, what say you?
I'll say this. Hold on 1 second. I don't know why my thing's still logging on my Bluetooth. Black people have self-hating behavior. That's why they don't. That's why they don't fuck with other black people. Sorry to say it. I wish they did, but they don't. You know. And even the ones that are successful, or let's say, getting there, once they get something, they're in the business to get the hell out of here around black folks. For whatever reason. I mean, I'm not sure how much you're around black folks where you're at or your housing or whatever, but it's evident once you make a certain amount of money, it's like it's incumbent for the typical modern average Negroes to say, F this shit, I'm out, you know?
Right.
And I can't think like that personally, you know. I know it's bad being around black folks because of my
my position is this, and for myself, I'm gonna use myself as an example. Okay. The first neighborhood that I moved when I bought my house, it wasn't a majority black neighborhood, but I would say it was about 25-30% black. Okay. And although so it was a good mix. It was mainly black and Hispanic, and it had some white people live, maybe about 15% white, 20% white, but it was mostly black and Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was not in an all black community, I did business in the black community. I hired people in the black community for my business overwhelmingly. And I set up shop in black community most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even when I bought a new house, I bought a house 5 years ago. Now, this area is highly mixed and is maybe 10 to 15% black. But I still don't stop going to black communities and investing in business, hiring from the black community. And like my group home that I had was in South Park. That's an 80% black area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my office where I'm located in Houston near the NRG, that's called that actually business complex area is called Black Wall Street, where 90% of the businesses or more are all black.
Mm-hmm.
So there's ample opportunities to do things, to not divest out and still communicate or interact or benefit your community with not necessarily living in the neighborhoods. But there are black people that choose not to do any of those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yellow Rose says what divestors really want is to divest from their problems as black people, and that's never going to happen. Exactly. Because no matter how divested you think you are out the black community, other communities are going to remind you that you're black. And they've done that historically. You cannot marry your way out of blackness. You can't divest your way out of blackness.
Yep, I agree.
And even for those who feel that getting a woman from a third world country is the go-to thing for you, marriage is only one aspect of your life. That's a major domain as far as the family. But you still have to go in a world where you have to interact with other people and do other things with other black people, per se. That doesn't cure all wounds. You have other things that you're going to deal with just like any other black person, whether you're married to a person from the Philippines or Colombia or not. You're still going to have to deal with issues that can be associated with being black. Can't run away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I wanted to touch on this and have this conversation, Chaos, because I think that, like I said, when I go and see certain panels, I see people from the divestment community that talk ill of Passport Brothers, or I hear people from the Passport Brothers that talk ill of black women, period, that are doing the same thing that they're doing. Now, what else? I seen a person talk about women who go. Now you start to hear people talk about women that go to African countries and other countries buying D from men, from young men. I've talked about like certain African countries, I think it was Ghana or Senegal, somewhere that they actually stopped foreign white women from coming there because of how the treatment of the black men that they were exploiting. This has happened. This is facts.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out where's the dissension coming from amongst Passport Brothers and the divestment community when you all are practicing the same behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no, other than the fact that this is YouTube bullshit. Once again, just on YouTube, I say dumb shit, I do dumb shit, and it's all about who watches me or who don't watch me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perspective that I have.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah. So, Oh, go ahead, brother.
No, good. Finish what you said. Say. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to have this discussion. I'm not going to be on too long today. I got a rest of. I got a long week next week.
So next week.
So, which is tomorrow. But just wanted to getting your points and anybody else's points that wanted to come up. I just wanted to talk about this because they're basically doing the same shit. Like, it's no difference. Like, I don't get this whole thing about, you're doing something that's, to me, I consider anti-black, but necessarily you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But if you dating an Asian man is so great, why are you not in the Asian sectors of YouTube telling them how great your Asian man or woman is? Why are you coming to the black community? You come into the black community to brag about something we really don't give a shit about. Like you're coming to us as if, ooh, we want to be like you. You've reached paradise. So now we want to hop on the ship and go. No, we don't. We love our community. We know there's a lot of shit that needs to be repaired and changed. And we're going to stick it out with our communities because at least we know in our community, it's our community. And you're not going to get treated the same from another community. No matter how messed up the black community is, black people treat black people better than what other people treat black people. No matter, and I know that some black people don't, but most black people respect other black people. But what I can say, that reality is not going to exist you going to other communities. They will treat you a certain way. What's up, Dante Adams? What's up, brother?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Chaos?
That's good. That's good.
You know what? There's something psychologically, there's something psychologically wrong with that. On both sides, passport and the divestment. Because as long as I've been on YouTube, and these two groups of people been on YouTube, they always find themselves in black spaces. For some strange reason, they always on YouTube in black spaces. You find the divestment always on black spaces, and you find these passport and SYBM brothers on black women's spaces, in black women's spaces. But right. They swear, yeah, but you let them tell it, they don't want anything to do with the opposite other. But they always finding but they always gotta find go on.
No, yeah, you're right. They always find themselves interacting with one another or about stuff. You'll go to black spaces or black male space or whatever and talk about black men or passport go into black women's spaces telling them how bad they are or how bad the black community is. And to be honest with you, we don't need you here to compare and contrast to other groups of people.
And you know what the problem is? What the problem is with that? They, like you said earlier in the show, they cannot go to these other spaces and tell them that mess because they don't want to hear it. They can't go to these other spaces where they're predominantly white or these white spaces. They can't go to them spaces like that. And because they don't want to hear that mess.
They sure
like
don't.
you said, they is not because they know they is not going to hold them in the high regards, and they is not going to hold them to a high regard over their own people. They is not going to put that white man and that white woman is not going to put you over their own people. I don't care how much. I don't care how much you deify them, you pedestalize them. They is not going to put you over their own people, and they know that. That's why they know that. That's why these divestment and these passport Negroes always finding themselves in black spaces because they know they is not going to put their own people. And they is not going to put you over their own people.
So at that point, Dante, my position is that particularly in black YouTube and spaces that don't share the same ideology, why are we allowing these people to speak as freely and to say what just because they're black don't mean we have to allow them to speak and say, and to spread this type of rhetoric. Like
that key word you just said, allow. We always accepting them back. They
exactly, and that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. And to me, as black people, we have to understand that in order for us to get respect, we can't just allow any and everybody to say what the hell they want without any type of recourse. And we want to love everybody. We want to forgive everybody. We want to love everybody. And it does not change the behavior of people like this. Like, now I can see their value in such as say, let's say we're discussing a passport or a divestment issue, and we wanted to have a few of them just to get their perspective of what that is and what it means. But let's just say I decide to do which I have done, and I have attracted some of them in the past. Like I talked about one time, interracial relationships are not, basically interracial relationships are not that successful. Let's say I did a show about that. If I did a show, which I have done, about interracial relationships, because the reality is that of the black men who actually date interracially, only 16% get married. The other 84% don't marry those people that the people that they are dating. Only a small percentage of the people that date interracially, they don't marry. So what happens is the black man in America basically is almost doing the same thing he does within his own community. He brings the same toxicity of the black community of not marrying our women to the point that only 20% of our women get married. And then he goes to these women of other groups and only marries them at a rate of 17%, which is 3% lower. So the issue is not necessarily of dating outside the race being an answer, because black men are practicing the fact that they don't value marriage, because you're not marrying these women at a high percentage.
No, they ain't. Because Mr. the king of the passport himself even said that he ain't even looking for no relationship. Austin Holliman, he said out of his own mouth that he is not looking.
And I'm glad you stated that. He said it out of his own mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now remember when he was interviewed by Fox Soul, the first thing he complained about was that since he'd been out of high school, the dating pool in America is trash. And finding quality women, as if he's looking for a woman. But then you get on other platforms and say, I'm not looking for a wife right now. You're 23 years old, but you want to talk about how trash the dating game is. Like, see, that's hypocrisy in that.
Yeah, it's backwards. To me, it's no logic in that. It's straight up backwards. Because why even make a big issue of how black women attitudes and how their characters is if you ain't even looking to be serious with them? You ain't looking to marry them. So who cares? Who cares if she got attitude? Only thing you want to do is smash and dip. That's what he said. That's exactly what came out that boy's mouth. Only thing he want to do,
yeah. So this is the issue. See, guys like this think black women are stupid. You think black women don't pick up on guys that have bad intentions? That's why you get the responses that you get, because they can tell whether you have their best interest or not. And so you want to get mad that they have a negative presentation towards the things you do and say, and think it's all their fault. We're not looking within yourself as far as how you treat black women. That's the issue. Your presentation and how you treat them, how you talk to them, the respect that you give, that is reflective of the response that they give you. But nobody wants to talk about what they do and say and how they function in these relationships. They just want to talk about the behaviors that they are not fond of experiencing.
You
Also,
right. They don't want to admit the part that they played in that dysfunctional relationship. They only want to complain up. They only want to give their side about the woman. You know what I'm saying?
right.
They don't. They ain't gonna
And
want to
so
bring up. You're gone.
And so the divestment community, same thing. The divestment community will harp on every statistic that they can bring up about black men and how they scared of black men and black men ain't this and that. But they don't tell nothing about how good they're being treated by a man of another race, nor are any of those women married. And the other thing, which I can say, if you look at the divestment, like Divesting, Zealot, and others, they don't cam up. These divestors, very few divestors cam up. Now, I can
Because
give the
they ain't
pass.
divested.
Hey, Deidre, I don't like mention most of these content creators anyway that's putting out destructive garbage filth. But let's say we go there, right? There's a reason why a good portion of people don't really waste their time came up. Because we look at the rhetoric, let's be honest. If they said they are away from the community and they got non-black mates, that's a big L for them. Either if they look ugly, old, grumpy, or whatever, right? But can I say, imagine the world sees you talking this junk around not only black folks but white folks. You're gonna be looked at as weirdo. Personally, if you got white people, Deidre or Dante, if y'all have friends personally, that's your business. If you ask what goes on the internet, they'll look at these people as insane. You know, tell me you get frills watching other men beat up and kill other men on a different group.
And see, this is the issue
you gotta understand. One thing is evident with white folks that either they want to play the quiet, covert racism. They're not gonna be out here like literally agreeing with Negroes that think like this.
No, they're not.
Like and the reason why, because the world we live in today is moving into a different direction. But maybe 56 years ago, they could get away with it. But now they see the progression of times. It's only when niggas are backwards, thinking and operate like this for fucking cash app and money. You get me? In the real world, you can't talk that garbage in the real world how you move on the fucking digital space with the behind the fucking avatar. You don't get far. Oh, why you think? Listen. Let me sit down. Let me get hyped up. You notice all the top female content creators. You ever notice they're drawing back over this rhetoric? Have you noticed that? You know what? The one that wrote book. The one you know you're talking about. I'm not gonna mention name. You know what I'm talking about. The one that was writing a book about how to date non-black men for over 13 effing years. She pushed back. You know why? Her large reason, just like all the other ones, because she's around circles with important people that wants to get things done. And they'll tell personally that I hear you, but your rhetoric throughout the physical and digital space is too extreme that I can't be represented with your sick, backwards logic.
Right.
So that tells me if you're on the internet talking this crap, even to the point you have an avatar that's showing a dead man on one end and a young black girl on the other end, that tells you, and mind you, and YouTube still allows it, it tells you where YouTube's at.
Right.
That's extremism. Now, I don't care what the rules say in their term service, but no person that's extreme don't last long on certain people's websites. But to have that and still have that and talk to Reddit and you still on the internet, what that tells you where things are at.
Right.
Let a black man or anybody do this. Or let's say
but see, YouTube want to come up with all these community guidelines for everything. But they won't do nothing about that. They want to talk about everything else, but you won't take that shit down. Make that make sense. But go ahead,
Dante. See, you gotta understand. That only thing that shows is the mental state of black people. That only shows the mental state of black people. See, some of these people, I'm gonna say these SYMB and these divestment. Some of these people are mentally damaged. Some of them are speaking from trauma. Some of them been through all kind of trauma, especially these women that come on here, call themselves divestors, talking all this poisonous rhetoric. they've been through trauma. Some of them been molested. That's why they come on here and talk the way they talk, because they speaking from trauma. They're not. That's why it sounds, whatever they sound come out their mouth is illogical and it's backwards, and it just don't add up because they're speaking from trauma. That's why, and it goes for the men too. Some of these men speak from trauma. Some of these dudes got mommy issues. Some of these dudes probably been in a group home. You know what I mean? They speaking from trauma. Some of them been treated bad with they dating with their dating life, and so that's they speaking from. The only thing they doing is speaking from trauma.
I agree. Some of them are, and then you got some that's just saying all kinds of crazy stuff. You got people doing stuff for cash apps and super chats and all that stuff. That's a big game, man. That's a big game on YouTube with that. That's why I don't take any of these guys serious, because I know at the end of the day, a lot of these guys are doing this for money. And if the money was not here on YouTube, they would not be here.
We have no integrity. That shows the integrity level. No integrity.
I agree with it. Maybe to some people, but not all. Because let me tell you why. Unless they were not allowed to share or people pay them for another avenue, I would say I would agree with that. But because there are ways that one time another content creator made it possible to let people start using their Cash App, Zelle and stuff and post it, and they allowed to be posted on this website. Right. I would have to agree. I would have to disagree. Unless they offer that, then maybe they will possibly not be on here.
Let me tell you something. Some of these people are on here just for a cash app. Don't you know you got some dudes on here that will sit up and talk about how black women ain't shit and this and that, and then at the end when they cut off the goddamn computer, they go climb in the bed with a woman. Why the rest of these dudes that they've been hyping up and gassing their heads up about hating black women, they go to bed with blue balls. Why this Negro curl up with his why this Negro curl up in the bed with a woman? You know what I mean? Laughing at these men, laughing at them, just laughing at these men,
and getting paid. So some of these dudes, they ain't got no integrity. They're charlatans. You know what I mean? All they is oil salesman, snake oil salesman. So like I said, chaos. It's quite a few of them, a lot of them. It's quite. You rarely find somebody that's standing on their word, that has integrity. It's small, man. But there's a whole lot of these damn charlatans on here. Poison the young minds of people. Yeah, poisoning the young minds. Poison. Don't you know that you got 13 and 12-year-old kids that watch these channels? Why they gonna poison a whole nother generation that's under this other generation that they got through poisoning. Because you got people that was listening to Tommy Sotomayor back in the day, when they was adolescents, and now here they are, some incels listening to some more incels on YouTube. Right. Well, I'm gonna say, man, like I said, man, this younger generation, like I said, my son, other kids, the most kids that I know, 21 and under, they don't deal with YouTube like that. They really don't like YouTube that much. They more into TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram. They not like YouTube is like passe to them. And so, like, look at where Facebook is at now, as opposed to where Facebook was 8 years ago.
I gotta give you pushback, D-Rail, because youngsters are on YouTube. They don't say they're on any other social media like TikTok, which is more geared to young people, which is just as worse and dangerous. And let me tell you why. Listen. I want people to hear me good on the internet, especially in the chat room. TikTok's much worse and dangerous because it puts out the content in less than a minute for lesser ADHD / less attention span people. Hear it. So if they're not watching YouTube, they're watching other media outlet that gravitates your attention for less time and fraction. That's even worse. And I hear what's going on TikTok. They're pushing the divestment mostly over there. The swirling over there, the nonsense over there, worse than YouTube because it gets their point across in under 2 minutes or less. So if they're not on YouTube absorbing this, they're going on another media outlet that's even worse. So they don't need YouTube to gather what's going on. They go on TikTok now.
Okay.
Because TikTok, the same Chinese app, puts up the same nonsense.
Okay. I get that. And I know for a fact Instagram and Twitter does, you know, they have some of the same stuff. But the issue of hand is, you know, as I look at it on YouTube, because this is the platform, I don't really go into other platforms like that. I Facebook is every now and then. I actually like TikTok. I really like TikTok. Matter of fact, when I was on my dating channel, when I first promoted my channel, I did TikTok a lot. I actually had more viewers on TikTok than I had on YouTube. And then I decided to stop doing TikTok because I didn't have the time to do both. I couldn't manage doing consistent content on both. I had to just I can't, it's too much. It's just too much for me to do. Like you're doing videos over here, doing videos there. It was too much for me to manage. But the main thing I just wanted to convey today, and you know, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, but I just wanted to talk about the divestment community because I know, you know, Chaos, you hear a lot of the divestment people on certain channels. You hear the SYSBM and Passport Brothers on other channels. And it's like that disdain for the Black community also involves that they look at the other gender the same way, regardless of if they're practicing the same behavior as them. They look at you the same way regardless.
Yes, they do. I'm glad you brought that up. Sorry for cutting you off. I'm glad you brought that up because you know you might find these divestors that they may find a channel where Black man is correcting other Black man is as you say, you know, talking about Black man and you know, just I'm not gonna say talk about, let's just say correcting Black man's behavior, whatever. Then they'll sneak behind and go up on your panel and act like, you know, you ain't like the other Black man, but they're gonna go right along and get a little 2 cents about it. But they look at you the same way. They don't like you just as much, just like every other Black man that you correcting and critiquing. The same with these passport Negroes. They do the same thing. They go on these little channels. I ain't gonna call the women content creators, but you know, they go on these women panels that be critiquing Black women. They go on there and get a little 2 cents or whatever, knowing good and well that they don't like Black women. So why they in them spaces? You know what I mean? Why they even got their behind on the spaces? If they don't like Black women, they divested from Black women in the Black community, but they own there because they want to get a little 2 cents because they think that, you know, it's a woman bashing channel or it's a man bashing channel. You know what I'm saying? That's just my little
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I'm about to go ahead and lay it down for the night.
Yes,
any last words, brother?
I'm gonna say this. I say we don't need to be going back and forth on a major media platform because these white folks got something for us. They're already trying to bring back Jim Crow segregation laws in Mississippi. So we do not need no more divisive. We don't need to be divided. We need to be united. We do not need. We had enough of the divisiveness over 50 years. Like I say, the white folks don't care if you divesting. They don't care if you're going overseas passporting. They all going to group us in the same way. They all going to group us in the same place. We ain't nothing but niggas to them. Have been and always will be. And that's all I got to say.
All right, Chaos.
Ain't nothing really much, man. I don't really invest too much content on people that wants to, I guess, move around, leave the community, and go find non-Black people. I mean, it's not my cup of tea per se. I don't do too much. If I do it, I'll do it. But Eventually, if people decide they're going to divest, they're going to divest anyway. The only problem is when they go and move on with their lives, they're going to still keep their mouths on black people, especially opposite sex. And I find it to be very weird now. To the point to say, if you're that mentally sick and you're in a relationship with a non-black mate, and you're still allowed to talk about this community, what it says about your non-black mate? That tells me he's getting access, and he or she, especially he, has a side piece, and you're the side piece. Because he is messing around behind your back. I'm sorry. Go think about it.
Wow. Okay.
Non-black people, and then they're not in the business to look and say, I'm looking for I'm looking for a black person. They rather date and mate with their own, deal with their own problems. If they dealing with us, is usually in a fetish, sexual way. And you can't tell Negroes this nowadays, bro. They think that because they're black and they have something that other race people don't look at as a sexual way, and that's bullshit. They do, because
yes, they do.
Since this is the more freer country, wouldn't it make it easier for them to marry a lot of us more in droves? You don't see that because they know where it is. When it comes to black folks, in their mindset, it's easy sex. And how I could prove it, look how we talk about we want to get more in beds with them, seeking relationships with them. That's the invitation. Say, come fuck me, please.
Okay.
All right. That's it. End the show, man.
Yeah.
And
and one more thing, if you put another race over your own people, you putting them above you too. Now, just keep that in mind. You put another man or another woman, a race over your own, you putting them over you too.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate everybody for being here. This is Coach D. Darrell Spears. I will be back probably later this week, the middle or end of this week, doing some more live streams. I'm going to try to be more active on this channel. Y'all have a great day. Peace.